Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to be talking about homeschooling. A lot of people are interested in homeschooling, especially with the new agendas that are constantly being introduced in the public school system. So when I started off homeschooling, I had just had my firstborn son. I went to church. I had wanted to do better in my life than what I had had in the education area, parenting, etc. I wanted to raise him up well, and I was very motivated to be an excellent mother. I had things in the past that happened that really motivated me to be the best mom I could be. So when I went to church, I had just heard the gospel, I was saved. I saw a lot of families homeschooling, and I thought, wow, they look like they're really healthy families. I want that. So I used the education of homeschooling to build my family. So when I saw these families homeschooling, and there was a mix, it wasn't just like a homeschool church. I had never heard about it at first. I thought they were all kind of crazy. I had no idea how you could homeschool your kids. So as I saw these families, like I said, I really saw a lot that I liked. So I started looking into homeschooling, and I had a lot of mentoring. I had a lot of parenting classes throughout the years. I had just a lot. God has blessed me abundantly with my own personal walk with Him, my home births, everything. So, but at the beginning, when I first started, I started looking into homeschooling, and the books I picked to look into that was Ruth Beechick, The Moors, Mary Pride. I don't agree with everything with her, but she had a big resource book. Kathy Duffy. So these were like foundational books that I used. And then from there, as I was also reading quite a bit, one of my first books that I read, and I didn't read a lot in high school, I graduated early, but I didn't read a lot, was What to Expect When You're Expecting. So that book motivated me to look on the back and get more child development under my belt. The same thing in homeschooling, looking at these books, looking at the back of these books and saying, okay, well, how do I do this, or how do I teach that? And a constant walk in the homeschool life with continuing to fill my head with many books, and to, like a mother bird, she feeds, she goes out, she feeds, well, the dad goes out and brings the food, and she feeds pieces of her food to her children. So kind of the same concept with homeschooling. So one of the biggest things I'd recommend, and we didn't have a lot of money, was I pretty much homeschooled for free. I mean, my time, obviously, as a stay-at-home mom, I lost a lot in income, but I also saved us a lot by staying home. And I would highly recommend the library. I did almost everything through the library. I interlibrary loaned a lot of books. And the second resource I had was myself with research. I mean, my eyes now, I cannot read at the level that I read when I was younger. I read constantly. So reading is a big part of the homeschooling. I would highly recommend that. I started off with one of these books here, and I still have this. I haven't read it in a while, but it's Honey for a Child's Heart, and it's by Gladys Hunt. And what she does in this book is she talks about how important it is to read with your children, to fill their mind with good books. And I really enjoyed reading with my kids. It's something that I wasn't brought up with. But once I started reading with my kids, whether it was Dr. Seuss books or, I would have to look back, and I probably will, at some of these books I checked off. But like I have Grandma's Attic here that's checked off. I also watched that movie with my kids too. So that was really fun to be able to read books and then watch them. Let me see. I have Mere Christianity checked off by C.S. Lewis. Some of these books I didn't read to my kids. They were more for me. Through Gates of Splendor by Elizabeth Elliot. In His Steps by Charles Sheldon. Know What You Believe by Paul Little. So as I was reading to my kids their books, I also was reading for myself too and getting an education as far as whatever I wanted to learn, whether it was about the Bible or homeschooling, etc. Another thing I would recommend is when you're starting off with your kids, this is a very old book, Our America. I still keep it because, you know, history is being written over, and it has been for years. And this is a real simple book with some foundational truths in history. And I still have, you know, my encyclopedias. I only brought one set of encyclopedias my whole life. I had friends who were selling theirs, very old. They were on sale, and I brought them. I've also had, you know, since encyclopedias, you know, given to me, but that was the only time I invested in encyclopedias. Another great book, The World of Captain John Smith. This is a good foundational book, and I will be going through some of the stuff there. But really, reading is going to be your best resource, and encouragement, staying encouraged. I had to get online or read books. Actually, at first it was mostly all books to stay encouraged. And, you know, if you want to homeschool, you taught your child how to talk, you taught them how to walk, you taught them maybe how to write their name. So, I mean, I'm proud of that. I taught my kids how to write. I taught them how to read, how to swim. And if you can teach them those things, what you need to realize is you can also teach them so much more. And nowadays we have YouTube where you can learn just about anything. Homeschooling is exploding. So yeah, you can definitely do it if you really want to, and it doesn't have to cost a lot. So that's it for now. Thanks, guys.